As we look at not just average versus actual investing over time, let's talk about an actual investment some people are in this case, the Standard & Poor's 500 index. Now, if you look at its performance over time, now granted, we're doing a point to point on this one, not with dividends, so we're missing a 1.5% to 2% a year out of the S&P 500 because this is not counting full dividends. And we just add $20,000 a year because your average versus actual also changes as a result of you adding money over time. The average investment of, say, the big mountain chart somebody shows you when they're marketing a mutual fund to you versus your actual returns because you're adding money over time are different. So this is the S&P 500. You can see the pre-tax yearly rate of return. Highlighted in yellow are all of the negative years. And as we scroll through, you can see something simple like the tech bubble, where we had 3 down years in the Standard & Poor's 500. Your investment would have been up to $800,000. Then it would have fallen to $521,000, struggled its way back to $944,000 before the 2008 financial crisis hit. And that period of time from 1999 to 2010 is what they talk about as the lost decade. That if you're invested in the Standard & Poor's 500, it took you 10 years to have zero rate of return over that period of time. This is the reason why we teach people to own academically allocated, globally diversified portfolios, because you would have had tremendous returns over that decade if every year consistent, systematic rebalancing and holding strategy would have taken effect.
But you bring up a good point, which is that the media has hammered into us the lost decade. Like, people just take it as a given that no one made any money in the market for those 10 years, which is absolutely not true. It's true in a limited sense if you were only in the S&P 500 for certain conditions, but most people aren't. If you had a diversified portfolio, you had positive returns. And I think it's back to our theme of scroll down in that article, click all the way through, look deeper. The headline is never enough to tell you what you need to do to make decisions around your money.
Man. Know what you're reading, get help, have a coach. Yes. And now, as we get all the way down, your total investment balance would have been $2,071,000. Now, while the return was approximately 9%, 9.16, if you average the annual returns, that would have given you $3.3 million. But you don't have $3.3 million. What you have is $2,071,000 because your actual rate of return is because your money was not there the entire time. And this person was disciplined, adding $20,000 every single year to their portfolio, and they don't get the average. In fact, the difference between average and actual is about $1.3 million. That's a lot of money. In fact, that's more money than what most families are going to have for their entire retirement savings. And we got tricked by the average versus the actual in what we thought that investment might be worth. So what can you do about this? When we look at our investments, when we look at a potential investment somebody's bringing to us, we often aren't thinking about the average versus the actual. Somebody says, we anticipate you're going to do X amount return. You want to be able to be working with a coach or an advisor who can actually look at those outside investments and help you assess them. Because you might have a return in, say, a piece of real estate, and it looks like a really good rate of return on a year-to-year basis or immediate cash flow based upon, rents minus mortgage. But there's a lot of other factors that go into it. And you want an advisor who has the ability to assess those with you, come alongside you, and allow you to see through the hype, through the averages, to the actual. What is my family actually going to have as an outcome as a result of this? You want to make sure you're doing that assessment on any of the funds that you have, because even if you look at your 401k, you're going to see 1 year, 3 year, 5 year averages from those returns, which are not the actuals of what people got in those investments. And it leaves people chasing. We've talked about chasing returns before, but in this case, you end up chasing average. Chasing average. That is not what any of us want to work toward in life. What we want to be able to do is we want to be above average. We don't need to be wildly above average, but we need to be above the averages that most people teach. Nobody strives to have average children. Nobody wants to have an average marriage. Nobody wants to have an average vacation. And yet, what are we marketed to with all the time? Average rates of return. Don't let average bring you down. Don't make mediocrity your target. Dig in, read through the article, ask through the initial sales pitch, and find out if those things work for you. As always, we love hearing from all of you. If what you'd like to do is make sure we talk about some of the things that have been proposed to you, or maybe the things you've already gotten into, then reach out to us. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and when you get a moment, pick up my book on Amazon, Sound Financial Advice. It's the kind of book that's easy to read, but hard to forget all the knowledge you learned.